Alright guys, what is going on? Oink here, and today we've got a brand new set of season events. Of course, it's Thursday. We got the lightweight K-Cup. As usual, we'll be going into every single race and all of the information and requirements. So it's a 355 performance points, comfort, soft, maximum tyres, and you have to choose from one of the given list of K-cars in the game. Can be any standard or premium. Tracks, we've got the Suzuka East, which is the short course, Deep Forest Raceway, Tsukuba Circuit, Autumn Ring Mini Reverse, and an Eiffel Kart custom track. The car I chose to use is the Suzuki Cappuccino Racing mod. You can buy the Cappuccino from the premium dealership and then racing mod it for not too much money. It's a pretty decent car, pretty nippy. Make sure you got the comfort tyres. It comes with a bunch of customizable things. The only thing I changed was the transmission, so you can leave everything else stock. And then power-wise, it's got a bunch of strange stuff, but basically get it to 355, which is the limit, and I went with minimum aero, bit of weight, just to get the most power out of this thing as possible, so really maximize the amount of power. As I said, it's a little bit weird in terms of some of the upgrades that I got, but anyway, we start off here with Suzuka, which is the short East Circuit, and a pretty easy one to start off with here. Quite a fun little event actually. The first couple are pretty simple and the last couple are a little bit more tricky. I mean, you shouldn't have too many problems with them, but yeah, it should be good. You'll be surprised how well this car handles. It's got a reasonably small amount of power and a reasonably high amount of downforce due to the racing mod. This thing, you want to be turning in way later than you expect. I mean, often with the low grip tires, you think it's going to just understeer like crazy. But really, you can full throttle through a lot of, well, most of Suzuka, a lot of the courses here, you can just go full throttle through the corners, and it's quite weird. It's like quite a weird sensation, but yeah, you'll find that you'll have quite late turn-ins, just sort of dash into the corner late and just go straight for the apex, and yeah, you'll find out what I mean if you go for this car. It's quite interesting in terms of handling, and it's, pretty easy to drive, and as I said, it's quite nippy. You lose torque at the end about red line, so shift either just before red line or, no later than red line. Take first at the start of lap 3 and then finish up on lap 4, which takes us through to Deep Forest Raceway, which is again another of the easier one of the easier tracks of the set. There's a couple of long straights, so of course make sure you make use of a good bit of draft in there, and again make sure, as you can see there, like I'm going in for the turn in, and it just goes straight in. Like the front end grip is really pretty good with this, and as I said, the downforce just yeah, you really feel it, especially with the reduced amount of power that this is at 355 performance points. So yeah, kind of get a feel for the car and the turning points, and just kind of understand to what limits you can push this car. As I said, it's pretty far. You will be surprised. You can kind of push it as far as you want with full throttle through most of the corners. But yeah, just be be a little bit careful that if you just go beyond that kind of threshold of power, you might get a little bit of understeering, because these cars are pretty low power. If you clip a wall and lose speed, accelerating does take a little while, so that's kind of the crucial element across all of these events, is try and maintain like a decent average speed. Try not to brake too hard, try and keep your braking nice and gentle, or just use throttle control to slow your car down here and there, but for the most part, yeah, try and keep the momentum going through the corners. Try not to have any kind of slow starts out of a corner, otherwise you will lose a lot of time there. And yeah, if you can kind of get a nice rhythm go into the car, you should find that you have no problems in getting past everyone. And yeah, also make sure to try not to get held up by the AI, because as I say, if you come in behind one of them, you'll find that they'll slow you down big time, especially if you clip them and lose your speed. Anyway, take first place at the end of lap 2, and then we've got another lap just finishing it up there, lapping a 1:43 at the end. And we go to Tsukuba, which is probably the first one which might cause some problems. Crucial to make your overtakes when you can, so don't get held up by the AI. Make sure you kind of cut inside of them, get ahead of them before the corner. Try not to be stuck in traffic sort of mid corner at the apex, because as we know, the AI just take apexes extremely slowly. So yeah, make sure you're not stuck behind anyone through the corners, basically. And yeah, as I said, keep that flow going. Like, make sure you use the turn-in points like well, as you can see, full throttle through that right-hander. You can induce a little bit of oversteer with the lift off. So if you lift off the brake, you'll get some oversteer. So you can see on these kind of hairpins here, if you brake quite deep into the corner, down into second, and as you go down into second, come off the brakes quite quickly, and you'll find that the rear end kind of spins round. You don't get too much oversteer, and if you throttle in just at the right time, you actually won't get almost any wheel spin, and you can power straight out of the corner again. So yeah, give that a go, see if you can kind of get that one down, and you'll save yourself a bunch of time through those slower hairpin corners. And make a double overtake on the outside of the last corner. Overtake the guy somewhere near the end of lap 5, so you do want to be getting good laps. I'm hitting almost consistent 117s, final lap was a 116. Which puts us through to Autumn Ring Mini. Again, another one which was a little bit more challenging. And this one is got that. I mean, this has always been one of those very flowing tracks. It's all about getting the perfect line across these little kind of mini corners, lots of little corners in succession to make up one big corner. So, you know, whilst you're turning 180 degrees in total, it's made up of like 3 or 4 smaller angled turns. So just make sure you clip each apex perfectly, get a nice poise to the car. Yeah, as I said, keep that momentum going. Try not to let the car slide out on any of them. If you carry a little bit too much speed, you'll find you will slide a little bit, and yeah, you'll lose your grip and lose a bit of speed on the exit of the corner. Anyway, you can see I take first literally on the final corner there, but the guy's really slow, so if you get past him you don't have to worry, and lapping 48-second laps there. Which takes us to our final one, which is an Eiffel karting custom track. Pretty narrow. This one is almost full throttle for the entire race. Like, there's 2 or 3 corners, well, maybe like 2 corners where you should just let off slightly, 1 corner where you need to brake. For the most part, just keep your foot on the gas all the way down. You can see here, I think is the first place, just let off tiny amount of brakes down into 4th, and then keep it, as I said, as I've been saying with all of these, in fact, just a real nice kind of smooth line through the corner and a good exit speed. And yeah, you can make sure you don't clip in these AIs, kind of weaving in between them, dodging the traffic. That's your second corner where you're going to need to brake. Bit of a sharper brake, as I said, where you got that lift off oversteer when you bring the brake up. So kind of sharply on the brakes down to 3rd, and then as you let off, back on the gas, and then the car should rotate nicely into the corner. And then this final long left-hander, if you get it just right, I couldn't because of the AI that was at the apex there, but if you get it just right, you can almost get it without braking. Just a tiny bit of throttle control should get you round. Taking first at the end of lap 4 out of 5, so just 1 lap in the lead, and that secures this one. Lapping 1 minute 1s, I think, was my best on that one, and that kind of wraps it up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoy the event, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.